History. It is a story and the way of life of our ancestors. The main thing is to make history, not write it, said one Otto von Bismarck, the man who unified Germany. But without learning about his past, he probably never would have been able to learn from his predecessors, their mistakes, and Germany would never have been created. This is just one example of how important history and learning it is to those who want to change the world. I'm Srinand, and today I'm going to tell you about history, my passion. In modern day, we can see history in many diverse ways. The adventures, wars, and expressions of the people in our past have been popularized, dramatized, and romanticized by people through books, movies, dramas, skits, and documentary shows. But how did history originate? Well, no one person founded history, as you'd probably expect. But the title of father of history goes to Herodotus, an Ionian Greek who wrote the first works of history, the Histories, a series of books about culture and civilizations in North Africa, Asia, and Greece, and how they interacted. Soon many people began to write about their own lands, and Thucydides, Xenophon, Ptolemy, Chiming, and even Julius Caesar, just to name a few, started writing about history. Today, you can see how much history has influenced our culture. Films like Midway and Pearl Harbor, plays like Henry V and Julius Caesar, and channels like Crash Course World History and Kings and Generals really prove that without knowing our past, much of our culture would not even have existed. As Martin Luther King said, "We are not makers of history, we are made by history." So that is how history originated. But how did history become my passion? So a few months ago, my old passion used to be science. One day, while I accompanied my parents to Costco, I decided to spend my time at the book section. There, I happened to read an amazing history book. It was very riveting with pictures, maps, and lots of visuals. So I decided to buy it because it immediately hooked me. Even when I finished the book, I knew my quest was not over. I decided to explore more. The vast ocean of history is yet to be completely explored by me. The daring Columbus will explore this vast ocean of knowledge and know much, but not all, of history. So all of this is great and interesting, but is this educational? Well, of course. History has everything to do with school. Most obviously, it has its own subject, social studies. Our schools know correctly that, as Marcus Garvey said, a people without knowledge of their past history is like a tree without roots. So we have an entire 45-minute period devoted to history. But what else relates to history? Why, in math, science, and orchestra, we learn about historical figures like Euclid, Newton, and Bach, who are also accomplished in their own fields. Even in ILA, we get to make projects about the Cold War. And even in one unit, we got to make our own nation based off of real historical empires. Indeed, history has a huge impact on almost all the subjects. Even after all of this, how will we get a real job out of history? There are many professions that are almost perfect for history lovers. You can be a historian, history teacher, professor, or history YouTuber, sharing your knowledge to the world, or become an archivist, taking care of museums, or even a film editor, cartographer, geographer, or librarian, as all of these, one way or another, are connected to history. So, why do people like history anyway? As some might put it, it's just another school subject. Simply put, they can connect with history more than the fantastic stories of myths and legends, or about bacteria and sea vents. It is a story of our ancestors, our race, and our past. It is about struggles such as wars of independence, exploration like crossing the supposedly flat world into an unknown realm, wars, emotions, friendships, and bravery. All of these make me feel proud of my ancestors. I like history over science now because it is about the people from which our way of life comes from. History makes us, is made by us, and is the story of us.